Guys, again, we have a Rob, the credit guy in the house. What's up, bro?
What up, man? What up? Happy to be back.
Me too, bro. Yeah. Because without you, bro, like this YouTube channel is nothing at all. Because we've been doing
Oh
all
man,
this
stop
videos,
that.
man. Yeah,
Hey, we,
man.
we-
That's
we're
fact.
a team, man. We're a team for sure. Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Like, if you remember, like, last time when we did the video, and then we also said that if you guys have any questions, just let us know. So after that, bro, I gotten like so many DMs. I've gotten like DMs and then like all sort of emails. So
hmm
what I did is I compiled all the questionnaires everyone was asking, and I just tried to find like one common question that I could. Okay, so I have literally have like 3 to 4 questions. So if you could answer them, so in that way, like they could also figure out. And I'm pretty sure all these questions are very common in at least credit repair market
Yeah,
and even in any other industry, but specifically in credit repair. Okay.
yeah,
So,
but you don't know what you don't know, right? And so
yeah.
these questions, this is why we want you guys to ask these questions because, again, our job is to help you grow your business and scale. So,
Yes, sir.
absolutely, man. So bring on the questions and let's help as
Yes,
many
sir.
people as we can. Let's go.
Yes. So I'll start with the important one. There was like one specific guy that was asking to me is what would you do if clients are not responding to your messages? So let's say somebody saw a particular ad and then he reached
hmm
out to you. So what
Yep.
would you do?
So when you first run the ad, it sends you a generic message. Like,
Yeah.
for example, the message would just say, I want to fix my credit or
Mm-hmm.
schedule my free consultation. So just so that way you're aware, that's not the client typing that in. That's just a generic message, like
Yeah.
a drop down option. So
Yeah.
that's more of an alert to let you know, like, hey, a new lead came in.
Yeah.
So when you respond to them, you want to respond with something simple. Don't say, for example, this is Robert with Quick Tax and Credit, and we've been doing credit for 15 years. No, like you don't need to write them a whole paragraph or you don't need to send them your bio, right?
Yeah.
That's gonna immediately turn them off because
Yep.
they're gonna feel like you're trying to sell them automatically
Exactly.
through a text message. So
Yeah.
you want to keep it real simple. For example, if it was Harshal that contacted me, I'm going to respond with, hey, Harshal, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is.
Yeah.
And again, we all know that sometimes on social media, it doesn't always say their name, but if it says their name, address it, right?
Yep.
Write their name so that way they know it's not an automated message.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to respond with again, hey, Harshal, good afternoon. What are your credit scores? I always start with either what are your credit scores or, hey, Harshal, good afternoon. What's going on with your credit? And
Mm.
then what happens is it's a very simple, a very direct question because you know that's what they're contacting you about. They're not
Yep.
contacting you about anything else but credit. So
Yes, sir.
you might as well just be very direct, very simple. That's a very generic question to ask, but it creates engagement. And
Yep.
so now Harshal responds back, well, hey, I got a 550 credit score. You follow up with some, again, just simple conversational questions. But the question that this guy has is what if they're not responding, right? So what
Yeah.
if they don't respond back? Now, if they don't respond back, typically, especially if you're a one man or a one woman show, you're probably doing this from your cell phone, right? You're probably
Yeah.
responding from your cell phone. So what I would recommend, there's a couple of things. The first thing is if you really want to be personable, you can easily take your phone and in your chat, you can open up your camera. And when you open up your camera, you can simply say, hey Harshal, this is Rob from Quick Tax and Credit. What's going on with your credit? Tell me a little bit about your situation. Or you can
Yeah.
kind of repeat what you could repeat what you text earlier if they didn't answer the question. Hey Harshal, this is Rob from Quick Tax and Credit. What are your credit scores? I look forward to hearing from you. That's it. Just a
Yeah.
simple video. And then what happens is now they see that Rob, the credit guy, is a real person. He's not
Yeah.
some AI on social
Yeah.
media. And I'm also saying, again, I'm saying Harshal's name in the video. So,
Yep.
um, again, you want to, what that does is that it makes you relatable. It
Yeah.
creates trust.
Yep.
They know you're a real person. And now they're likelier going to respond to a
Yep.
video. And the cool thing about Instagram is that you can see when they watch the video.
Yeah.
It turns gray. So now you know, okay, they actually read or saw the message. So you know that you got their attention. Now, if they don't respond after that, I would I would not message them right away, but I would say maybe in an hour, right? You don't want to wait till the next day. So I would say maybe 30 minutes to an hour later, simply send them a question mark. That's it,
Mm.
just a question mark. Like, in other words, what you're saying is, I saw you saw my video, right? And question mark, like, what's going on? Because you reached
Yeah.
out to me. Remember, this you're not cold calling, you're not reaching out to
Yeah.
people, just random individuals. They reached out to you, and you're just being polite by like saying, "Hey, question mark." So that typically works. Another thing that you can do is on top of that, if you've already tried that, you can follow up with a GIF, and
Yeah.
you can do. I usually like to do like the funnier GIFs,
Yeah.
and that typically that will work sometimes. And again, you can simply just text. It doesn't have to be crazy.
Yep.
After a couple of times, guys, three, four, five, six, 7 times, you know, there's only so much you can do, and this
Mm-hmm.
is what you have to understand as a business owner. People will reach out to you just because they're inquiring. An
Mm.
inquiry I don't feel like an inquirer is a real lead. That's just somebody, for example, picture you in walking around in the mall. Just because somebody walks into Foot Locker, just because somebody walks into a certain store, doesn't mean they're going to buy anything. They might
Yeah.
just be looking around. They might have saw something in the back of the store that got their attention, and they just came to look at it like, wow, that's nice, and then walked out. So they might have came into your inbox with no intention on
Yeah.
wanting or needed credit repair. So
Yep.
they're not responding for a reason. So,
Yep.
but it is your job to follow up. If they don't respond, move on to the next one.
Yeah. I agree. I also have like another follow-up question to that. Somebody also said like, they are having trouble getting clients on the phone after they even have the
Hmm.
conversation, let's say. So in
Hmm.
the end, they're not being able to grab their phone number. How would you
Hmm.
tackle that?
So typically, you don't want to drill them with a bunch of questions, right? And what I mean by that is the very first question I ask, again, just to repeat, is, hey, what's your credit score? What's going on with your credit? After that, I ask them about 3 to 5 questions. Nothing crazy. For example, how many collections do you have? Things like that.
Charge
Again,
of
you're
do you have?
just asking them questions that are pertaining to their credit that are relevant to you trying to help them.
What is your goal?
After
I
Yeah,
mean,
exactly. What do you once we fix your credit, what is it that you're trying to
mm,
accomplish, right? Now, that's a great question, but I would kind of leave that one for on the phone, right?
okay.
But you do want to pick 3 to 5 questions, and then when you feel like, okay, this person is responding pretty quickly, because you got to pay attention to the
Yeah.
speed that they're responding. So,
Yeah.
for example, if I text Harshal, what's your credit score? He responds within 30 seconds. Okay, now I know I got his undivided attention. I ask him another question. He responds within 30 seconds. This is a hot lead. This guy, Harshal, is not taking 10 minutes to respond to me, 20
Yeah.
minutes, 30 minutes to respond. So the quicker they respond, the hotter the lead, the more
Yep.
interested they're in. They are. So after if somebody's responding like that, probably after the third question, I want to get this guy on the phone, because
Yeah.
what if I keep asking him questions, and then he just, you know what, I'm just gonna go do something else. And so after about the third or fourth question, hey, Harshal, and this part is really important for you note takers, I would respond with, I'm just finishing up with the client. Are you available to talk right now?
Mm,
This is why I'm very specific with my words. The reason why I say I'm finishing up with a client, maybe you weren't, but I'm telling you, people want to do business with people that are busy.
yeah.
They don't want they don't want to know that you're just sitting around waiting for them, right? That you're
Yes,
desperate for a
sir.
sale. I'm
Yeah.
just finishing up with a client. Are you available to talk right now?
Mm,
The right now part is so crucial. Why? Because you have to be very direct, You have to let them know what you want so that way you can make this
Yeah.
call happen. This is what I mean. If I say, Harshal, are you available to talk? And I don't say right now, Harshal could respond with, yeah, I'm available to talk tomorrow or next weekend. So you want to be specific with, are you available to talk right now? Why? Because you're trying to get them on the phone today. You're trying to make the sale today. You're not trying to do it
Yeah.
tomorrow, next week, or the week after. Why? Because if you set up an appointment, we all know what it looks like when you set up an appointment and they don't show up. So you want to be able to get them. The lead is never going to be hotter than the moment that it came in, right? So you want to get them on the phone as quickly as possible
Yeah.
by saying, are you available to talk right now? It is absolutely going to increase the ratio of you getting them on the phone right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like most people also say, this is like another question that
Mhm.
was there is, I spent $100 on paid ads and I was not able to get return on investment.
Man, there's so many directions that we can go on that because it can be maybe you're not, I'm just going to throw out a couple of things. And sometimes when you really are humble and you look at yourself, it might be all of them, but let me give you an example. Sometimes it could be that you're just not posting enough. So,
Mm.
guys, for those of you who are watching this, I've been using Harshal for over 5 years, probably closer to 7 years now.
Yeah.
But Harshal and his team are great at what he does. But if I'm not consistently posting, if I'm not doing my part on social media, then what he's doing, I'm not saying it's going to be void, but what happens is people are going to land on your page
Yeah.
and they're going to see, hey, is Rob the credit guy? Is this, his company? Is it a real company?
Mm.
Your social media is not social media to them, to your potential customer. Your social media is a profile. They're able to see, okay, what are you currently doing with other clients? What are you talking about on social media? Are you being helpful on social media? Are you talking about credit facts and credit myths? Are you showing before and after, results from your
Yeah.
clients? Are you, educating consumers or are you selling consumers? Are you always talking about price? Are you always talking about this Friday we're running a special? Like, listen, okay, I'm not saying that doesn't work, but now you just sound like everybody else, right? And so,
Yeah.
in my opinion, I really put myself as a position as an authority figure to be an educator rather
Yeah.
than a salesperson, right? People would rather talk to an educator than talk to a salesperson.
Yeah.
So, like, really think about that. So, really position yourself as an educator, as an authority figure on social media. That's the first thing. So, if you're lacking in that area, it could be, that creates trust and credibility. So,
Yeah.
if you're not closing deals when you get them on the phone, it could be that maybe they're not confident in your presentation. So, it could be the sales pitch, and it could be a combination of the sales pitch and your social media page. So
Mm.
that's, again, those are two different things. But those are huge, huge factors when it comes to closing a deal. Uh, Another reason why you might not be closing a deal is going back to the sales script. A sales script is so important. And for those of you who never use a sales script or maybe have never done sales, you have think about it like a GPS. A GPS is going to get you to where you want to go a lot quicker with a lot less roadblocks. And
Yeah.
that's what a good sales script is actually going to answer a lot of your customer. They're going to answer a lot of your customers' concerns and questions before they even ask. So at the end of the script, when you're done, going through the presentation, you're going through the credit report, they feel educated, not sold. If they
Yeah.
feel sold, if they feel sold, then they're not going to sign up. Another big mistake that you might be doing has nothing to do with marketing. You might be giving out the price too quickly.
Yeah.
If somebody asks you, "Hey, well, how much do you charge?" and you tell them 500, and then you're like, "Well, hold on, let me tell you what's included in our program." They don't want to hear it because
Yeah.
they already heard the price, and so now they're like, "Oh, I can't afford 500." They don't you gave them the price too quickly, and so because of that, they're not even listening to you at
Yeah.
at that point. they're already in their mind, they're overthinking and thinking about how they're even going to pay this. They're thinking
Pay
about all
this.
their other bills, plus they got to pay you $500. So
Yeah.
education before the price, always super important. So that's another mistake they could be making. Um,
Yep.
another thing about, not closing the sale is it could be the way you interacted with the customer. Again, not taking the time to really find out what their motivation and what their goals are. Instead, you're just talking about, well, look at what we've done for other credit clients and this and that. You really have to take the time to get to know your client. Again,
Mm-hmm.
focus on getting to know them, build the education, and then you offer the price.
Yes,
So,
sir. Absolutely, bro. This is another crucial question. Maybe I could also answer that in the last, but I want to get your thoughts and feedback on this. So
mhm,
there's like one particular guy, like he said, I have tried paid ads in the past for 1 month and it doesn't work. So,
mhm,
like, just so I could answer him, I was like, bro, like, you literally built this business and it took you couple of years to build. Let's say
mhm,
even like any particular state, like, even your muscles and all that stuff.
mhm.
How would someone build the whole paid ads marketing for you, let's say, in literally 1 month or so? Like he was saying, like, he has worked with like any other marketing agency in the past and he tried it for 1 month and it didn't work. So what are your thoughts on that dynamics?
Man, marketing takes time because I know that when I create a video, the easiest way I can put this, let's say you create a video and you really like the video. And let's say, again, Harshal is my marketing guy, him and his team. So we review the video.
Mm-hmm.
We feel, okay, the visuals are very attractive. The wording in the videos, like what's being said, is
Yeah,
very,
on point.
engaging.
Yeah,
Everything is good, right? Even the description, all of that, everything is, we feel is perfect.
yeah,
But you know what? It doesn't matter what if we like the video. What matters is when we launch it and we
yep,
promote it, is the audience, is the Facebook and the Instagram audience, are they going to receive our message? Are
yeah,
they going to react to it?
mm-hmm.
Listen, I have spent $500, getting a video professionally done,
Yeah.
500, $1,000 by a videographer, the whole team, lights, and just looks amazing. And you know what? That video freaking flopped because it's not about the production of the video.
Yeah,
It's more of you have to find the words, you have to have the background. There's so many things that factor into making a successful, video. And this is something that we've perfected like over the
yeah,
last 15 years that I've been in business. I run ads and I know exactly what to say. I know it's going to grab attention. I know how to convert. And
yeah,
it took me a while. It took me years to get to that point. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to take you years. So don't,
yeah. I think
don't,
like
oh, well, it's going
couple
to,
of months,
but
like 2 to 3 months is a good time frame for someone to succeed. I,
yeah,
I, I
I,
mean,
I would
worst case
say,
scenario.
I would say start with two videos. I would say
Yeah,
start with two videos. That way you could run one video, like
yeah,
A/B testing, run
yep,
the videos against each other. And then whichever one wins, keep that one, create
yeah,
another video, and then
yeah.
run that one, see which one wins.
Yes,
And
sir.
it's so important because our industry is constantly changing and evolving. You have to stay on top of your game.
Yeah,
And especially right now, editing is crazy. Like people are doing some crazy edits, right?
yeah,
So you really want to stay on top of, kind of follow the trends. Following the trends
yeah,
really does help. And you don't know how your video is going to perform until you launch it. And this
yeah,
is why I would recommend for anybody that's new, start off with a small budget, $25, $30. I wouldn't
yeah,
start off at 100 because
yeah.
starting off at 100, you may have the money to do that. But starting off at 100, you don't really know if it's going to take off or not. And
Yes, sir.
so if you're doing $100 a day, that's $700 in a week. And what if
Yeah,
that video absolutely is trash? You just
yeah,
lost $700. So again, start off with a small ad budget and then run two videos, see which one it works,
but
and you
just
make
don't give up.
tweaks.
Yeah, just don't
No,
give up. Yeah,
absolutely, you can't give up. I mean,
yeah.
that's
Like,
not even, yeah, that's not even a conversation. Like for me, at
yeah,
least, you know.
yeah, yeah.
So
Even for like all the clients that we work with, obviously it's not a conversation. It's like the guy got very emotional in the messages. He was
mhm.
like, "Hey man, I love watching you and Rob talking about all the things that you guys do. I tried this particular marketing agency before. I tried it for 1 month and it didn't work out and I
One
lost
month
money."
is not long enough. I mean,
That's what I told him. That's what I told him.
it takes really, I would say, a solid 2 to 3 weeks to
Yep.
see if that particular video
Yeah.
is even going to operate at the level that you want it to.
Yes,
And
sir.
let's say it does, then because you would watch the analytics and see how many people
Yeah.
convert, all of this. After about 2 to 3 weeks, then you turn up the ad budget and say,
Yep.
okay, this is working.
Yeah.
And just because that ad is working doesn't mean you're done.
Yeah.
I would still recommend you run a different video, because what if you run a different video side by side, of course, and then that video does better. And so
Yep.
now, even though this video is doing good, this one's doing better, you might just want to stick with both and hit them
Yes,
hit them from
sir.
two different directions. So
Absolutely, man.
the,
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
best
for
the
sure.
best advice, man, I can give with marketing: shoot it and make sure and just put it out. But here's a
Yeah.
couple of things that you do want to kind of check the box with. You want to, like right now, I got two lights right here,
Mm-hmm.
because that's why it's so bright. So you want to make sure that your lighting, let me give you an example. If I were to turn this off, right?
Yeah.
Imagine me doing a video like this, right? You're gonna be like, man, this guy's like in a closet somewhere. And so you want to make sure that you have good lighting. You want to
Yeah.
make sure you have a good mic, because if people have bad audio, then it's gonna be hard to listen to. If
Yeah.
you have a bad visual, it's gonna be hard to watch. You want to make sure that, like right now, I'm in my office, so I have a professional background. You don't want to be in the kitchen shooting a video. You don't want to be, again, we're talking about credit repair. You're dealing with people's socials and all their personal information.
Yeah.
They want to know, that they're dealing with somebody that's legitimate. So right now I'm wearing a t-shirt. We're doing a YouTube video, so no big deal. But if I was running an ad, I would absolutely be in a polo. I would have some jewelry on. I would,
Yeah.
you want to, I'm not saying you have to be flashy, but you want to look the part. And so
Yep.
that's super important. Let's be real. People are judgmental. They're going to look at
Yeah.
you and they're going to judge you. And that first impression, because remember, these are people that, when you're running an ad, these are people that don't know you.
Yep.
So these are not your followers. These are people that don't know you. So
Yeah.
they're going to judge you from the moment that they see your ad. And that first impression is so important. You cannot redo a first impression.
Yes, sir. And one thing to notice is they are the ones that are going to make you rich.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And for those of you who think that, well, I tried ads before. This is why coaching and mentoring is so important, because
Yeah.
whatever you're doing is not working. And so,
Yep.
why not learn from somebody who's already mastered
Yep.
how to generate leads? Obviously there's always going to be some type of investment in that,
Yeah.
but in the same token, think about how much money you're losing by
Yeah.
just trying to throw shit on the wall and see if it sticks. You're
Yeah.
losing more money and you're losing more time, and then you're just getting more frustrated, and eventually you're going to run out of money, you're going to run out of time, and you're going to go
Yeah.
back to working a 9 to 5.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Those were the all the questions that we had. And yeah, I also wanted to plug your course and the mentorship that you have, bro. What's up? Tell me about it.
With the mentor, man, listen, we teach, this is why Harshal and I work so well together, because, you know, a lot of people think that, okay, well, I'm gonna hire Harshal and then my whole world is just gonna just be amazing. And sometimes that is what happens. Sometimes it is as easy as hiring Harshal and then you have everything else in place. But this is what a lot of people don't coach on is you have to have the workflows, you have to have the systems. What happens you know, when you hire an employee, you have to train the employee. Think
Yep.
about when you work. Think about when you work a 9 to 5. What do? They give you a training manual. They sit you to the person they sit you next to the expert so you can learn from them. Well, you don't have that, right? So
Yeah.
that's where the coaching and mentoring comes in, is we teach you how to train your employees. We teach you how to, create, elite employees, right?
Yep.
Even if somebody comes to you with experience, it doesn't mean that they're going to be a good employee for you. You have to
Yeah.
mold them. You have to mold them to how you see fit. Because what if somebody says, well, you go to hire somebody and they're like, I got experience. But what if they come to you with bad habits? What if they learn the wrong way and you need to
Mm.
correct them and make them and teach them the right way? So training your
Yeah.
employees, we provide the sales scripts, the customer service scripts, and a lot of people don't even know about customer service scripts.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to talk about sales, 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 but really customer service is just as important as sales, because your customer service, that's going to determine if you're going to stay in business or not.
Yeah.
So you have to have, again, the customer service scripts. You have to have the workflows, the systems, the onboarding. It's so important. Another thing that I really see a lot of people slacking on is they're still using Stripe, PayPal, Cash App, and things like that. You have to use the right merchant
Yeah.
before your company gets shut down. And you're also leaving a lot of money on the table if you can't set up the reoccurring payments, because what happens is you're calling the clients every month or every week. Hey, Harshal, I need you to pay me the money. They're like, no, man, I'll pay you next week. Meanwhile, they would still want you to fix their credit. So
That's
there's
crazy.
so
Yeah.
much, man, that goes on to running a business. In our coaching and mentoring program, we're not just going to teach you how to sell, we're going to teach you how to run the entire business.
Yep. Yes,
So,
sir.
but yeah, you
Yeah.
guys can go to robthecreditguy.com for more information. You'll
Yeah.
be
I'll
able to
also
see
leave the link.
you'll be able to see other CROs that I've coached. They're doing 10, 20, 30, 50. I got a mentee right now doing 90 to $100,000 a month. So trust me, if I could do it, they could do it. You could
Yeah,
definitely do it with our coaching and our guidance.
for sure. Yeah, guys. So I'll also leave the link down below. So in that way, you can check out his website and sign up for his mentorship program. Until next time.
Till next time, guys, if you have
Yes, sir.
any additional questions, make sure you reach out to
Yeah, yeah,
Harshal. We're
yeah.
going to keep answering all your questions, and we're excited to help as
Absolutely.
many people as we can. So
Yes, sir.
we'll see you guys next time. Have a blessed one.
Yes, sir. Let's keep doing all this weekly podcast, bro. That's what's up.
Let's get it, man.
Yes, sir.